We fade in on a grassy valley just beyond a gaping chasm, and across the chasm is a majestic bridge. And just on one end of that bridge is a town. It's Trestle Bridge, of course. And the sun is rising over the mountains to the north, or, figuratively. It's not actually rising in the north. That would be silly. But as the sun is rising, it's a new day. We see someone stepping out from their house, and it's Mayor Boskins. And as he steps out, a member of the guard is approaching. This is probably actually Talbot Hinton, if anyone remembers from way back. That was Arathair's old buddy. He says, it's been a couple of days since they left. Do you think they found anything? Should we send some men to investigate? And the mayor says, yes, I'm beginning to get a little bit worried myself, but we should probably give them some more time. Either they haven't found anything that's threatening us and they just haven't come back, or they're dealing with it.
Oh, right, we were supposed to go back. Oops.
So Talbot nods and says, and what about the other matter, the missing people? And the mayor just sighs and shakes his head and says, well, Talbot. Well, Talbot, we know that she left a long time ago, and she was very good friends with him. Presumably he'll have to go look for her. We haven't been able to do that ourselves. Right now they're out of our hands. And as the scene just fades and we see our fellowship walking through a tunnel. Who's in the lead? How are you all doing?
Not it.
Not me.
I assume at this point we're heading back to the civilized part of the tunnel where the rest of the hillfolk are.
That would be a good idea, seeing that...
Carvette is in the lead, heading back to where the hillmen are.
Alright. Are you stopping to continue investigating any of the side tunnels? Or are you just making a direct route through the main tunnel?
We are not stopping anywhere. Let's get the heck back.
Well, I'm stopping to note how many there are.
Okay. So you
I may not be walking down them, but I'm at least making note mentally. There's one on the right, there's two on the left, there's one on the right, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. The tunnels actually seem to alternate between left and right. And as you... I guess I'll just tell you. From where... So you had been 3 tunnels deep. That's where you had your dream sequence. After those 3 tunnels, you pass 6 more side tunnels on your way back to the main cave. And that includes the one that everyone almost went down like 3 sessions ago when you first left the camp. So you make it to the mouth of the cave without incident. Nothing seems to be coming out from any of the tunnels towards you. And what do you do? You're at the mouth of the cave. You're not quite out there yet. Are you going to get your story straight? Are you gonna look around first?
Guys, we need to get our story straight.
What?
Story.
What are you talking about?
Before we go back in and tell, hey guards, guess what? We snuck out a couple days ago, and we're just now coming back.
It's been a couple of days. It's been overnight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a couple days since you left Trestle Bridge, but it's only been overnight since you left the camp.
Okay, so we should walk back in, acting like we're messed up. I'm talking like we hit a raging kegger and we are drunk off our minds. Like, did you see what happened in the woods? It was amazing. You never guess.
No, because we have actual news that we have to deliver.
Oh, okay. I'm
What
gonna forget my
are
plan.
you guys talking about?
We'll fill you in later, Pineleaf.
We have legitimate reasons for having left the cave. We were curious about the campfire, and it's a good thing that we investigated because we have actual news.
All
Carve,
right.
you can still be drunk.
Let's go and talk to them.
I'm sober. I was just kidding about that.
And he thinks that we shouldn't be trusted.
Okay, so if you're ready to push into the cave, is anyone looking for anything in particular as they step into the cave? Are you just coming back normally, or are you going to try to make it back to your...
I'm
Make it
looking to see if we're going to trip off any guards or alarms or anything, because I know we snuck out under pretense.
Andeng is not looking for guards, he's just looking for Hillman. He's just very expectantly looking for Hillman.
Well, as you first enter the cave, there doesn't seem to be anyone posted on guard. And there's no one sleeping either, if that's what you're about to ask.
That's a little weird.
There's a little bit of movement in the camps, but nothing, it's just sort of like people sort of like opening their tent flaps. There are a few cook fires that have been started for breakfast.
Yeah, but they had guards posted when we left.
Exactly.
That they did.
When
This
you say
bodes
people,
not well.
do you mean Hillman or do you mean people?
I mean, Hilda.
They look like the people we left in this cave. That's what I'm concerned about.
I mean, you didn't meet any of them personally, but it's safe to assume that these are the same people who were going to bed. When you
Well, I
left.
mean, you could look, not like necessarily identify, okay, oh yes, that's Grog over there. No, what I'm saying is, like, they look like the same people group that we left previously.
Yeah.
It's not like another bandito camp has come in and rousted our former peoples and then they're, like, pretending for an ambush. Okay.
I just have this idea that Carv is actually drunk, and he has this idea that all the Hillmen are actually different Hillmen. They were switched out overnight.
You don't know. You don't know. You gotta be aware. You could. I mean, shoot. My dead father tried to convince me to climb a tower that wasn't even real. You don't know. This could be another dream. This could be
In
like
fairness-
warpception going on in here.
You were already at the top of the tower.
See? Even he doesn't know. I mean, you don't know.
If you want to use insight to try and read the camp, you can roll.
Insight. Is that wits? I don't know if I have
It's
insight.
one of the other
No,
skills.
wait a minute. I have a skill. It's not on here. There's a guardian skill. Where's that guardian skill? It's like insight. I can use power and I can do the thing and learn about stuff, but I don't have it on this document.
Let me look that up.
It's like I can ask questions. I remember that skill now. It's
All
like
right.
insight. What were the questions though? I don't remember what link it was. It was another document. You know how that goes.
Yep.
I'm looking for it. How to get started? No, that's not it. Check.
Oh, come on, man.
Alpine mechanics into the car. Oh wait, I bet you it's here. I gotta bring back the old character sheets.
Yep.
Class abilities. Here it is. What? No thanks. I don't want to. Where is it?
On watch.
Oh come on. No, it was a subclass of my guardian type. Is this the one? Maybe?
Yeah.
Classes, here it is. Okay, wait. I've got it. Hold on. I am ever alert, constantly on watch for potential dangers. As my training, yeah, on watch. You're right. That's it. Okay.
Sure. So to use that, go ahead and roll wits. Yeah.
I'm going to roll a perception check with my awesome wits.
Wow. Yeah, that's successful.
Um,
I'll let you ask 2 questions from the list.
Heck yeah! Carv is in the house. Okay. What should I be on the lookout for?
I mean, given what you've learned, the thing to be on the lookout for would be if any creatures, I guess, have come into the cave. You have no evidence that there are any other, like, sapient species living in there, but something was keeping those trolls away.
Okay. Then the follow-up question to that is, who or what is really in control here?
I'm in control. What are you?
Well, obviously. That's player knowledge. Let's talk about character knowledge.
I guess you could tell, just sort of, the people are casting sort of, I mean, they're not looking worriedly in one direction all the time, but every now and again someone, like especially the younger children, will be just sort of like, they'll cast a glance back at the main tent. So to them and therefore to you, it would seem as though Shannon Biana is still in control.
Or they're all being held hostage by her.
Or that.
Okay.
It may not even be Shannon Biana the tent, it might be the leader of some other Hillman clan who has come through and replaced everyone. But, I mean,
Are we in the same game?
It seems like normal. It seems like normal morning behavior with just like an undercurrent of something has happened. And the people aren't exactly sure what.
I just like the idea of life being all confused because we've all been on this crazy adventure and she hasn't, so she has no idea that we've all changed a little bit.
Okay. Well, using my dwarf senses of perception, I turn to the group and I say, something happened here last night and it wasn't us.
Well, no, because we weren't here.
I know. What I'm saying is they noticed we weren't here, but something else happened. We need to be figuring out what happened.
We should probably go see what's going on in the main tent, because we need to see Shannon Biana.
Definitely.
Let us. And Tomato.
Okay. So, how are you... Like, are you just going to walk through the camp?
Sure.
Okay.
When we get to the tent, we might not want to go in through the main door. We might want to make our own entrance. Just to be, if it is an enemy, we'd want to take them on surprise.
Well, we can stop and listen to once we get there too, to see if we can hear anything that's going on inside before we decide to.
As we're walking through the camp, do we see any of the people we've communicated with before, especially that one chap that actually speaks common tongue?
You don't see Fjol anywhere.
Hmm.
But if something is going on at the main tent that's not necessarily suspicious, he might be there.
I guess we don't see the lore master either, huh?
No. Would you like to stop
Also,
at his
probably
place
not a bad thing.
No, we really don't need to stop.
Not exactly the most useful person there.
He could know stuff. Which mushroom's the best? Give you the prettiest color sight? You never know. Okay, well, I guess we head towards the main tent. Just kind of walk through, look around. I'm still wary because something happened, but I'm looking for things that look out of place.
So yeah, as you're walking, just casually up the main, I guess it would be a street in any other village, but it's just the area between everyone's personal tents. You seem to be the ones that are out of place. People are, when you came through previously, it was almost nighttime. A lot of people were indoors. Now people are coming out. More people are starting to see you for the first time. And so there's a lot of whispers. And if you look out of the corner of your eyes, they're sort of gesturing at you. But if you look at them directly, then they're minding their own business again.
I'm standing as heroically as possible. I'm trying to be as heroic as possible, using all this is worth. We're getting attention, and I'm really going to show that I'm excited about it.
I roll my eyes.
I hide behind my beard.
Okay. As you make it to the main tent, are you going to stop and listen outside first?
Stealthily.
Okay. Well, stealth.
I don't want to be recognized. I've got my head up.
Alright.
The beard kind of gives me
As
away.
you stealthily try to look heroic, gaining attention. Yeah. So I think you yourself are, you're kind of quiet, but as you notice, some of the crowd is just sort of attracted to this heroic person and the group of embarrassed people who are walking down the middle of their tents, and so some of them have started to sort of follow you. And you're being quiet, but they might not be.
I just like the idea of me putting my ear up to the tent and all of them just watching.
Okay. Are you the only one who's listening, or is everyone?
No, I'm
You know, the hides are pretty thick, so you have to be trying to listen through the.
I'm trying to listen.
Okay. I guess that'd just be a wits check.
I am also trying to listen without being quite so obvious about it.
Okay.
But
So
I
you
can't hear a
hear.
thing.
No, I'll say. I mean, yeah. You hear it's kind of muffled by the hides, so you can hear that there's. You can make out Biana's voice. You can't really make out who she's talking to. There are other male voices in the tent, and it seems to be in their native tongue, so you can't make out what they're saying.
Okay, well, at least we know that it's not like some enemy dude. So I'm gonna step away from the tent so that they're not within earshot, and the people inside the tent, and let the rest of the party know that I heard familiar voices inside.
So, yeah.
So I think we're safe to go inside.
Laddie.
I hope you realize that I am completely oblivious to the reason for all this paranoia.
The guards are gone.
Maybe the sun came up and they thought they didn't need him. Or they didn't know the dangers that lurk within the cave beyond the walls.
So Carv has totally lost it since we've been gone. I think we can all agree on that. He's like the conspiracy dude. Let's
You
go
don't
ahead
know.
Is that anything new?
We are in a cave system with 6 unexplored entrances. There could be fireworms down those for all we know. You don't know. I'm just saying, you gotta be careful.
And the whole time Carv's like got a pipe and smoking it and just over exaggerated.
He's found a shiny reflective surface somewhere, and he's just made a hat out of it.
That's my helmet, laddie. It's not foil, it's thicker than that.
So I think we're good to go inside the tent. But you might want to take that hat off, Carv.
It's my helmet. Protects me noggin.
So if you push open the flap of the tent and come inside, and so there's Shen and Biana, as you heard, and she's having an animated discussion with just a big belly man. You haven't seen him before, but then sort of like beyond the two of them having whatever discussion they're having are just two other of the hillmen who are just sort of like seated casually, and they're sort of they want to see how this conversation in front of them is going to play out. They each have like a crude spear that's just sort of like next to them on the floor. They're not at the ready. May, you of everyone would probably recognize them as the two guards from the night before.
Ah,
Are they in trouble?
okay.
If someone wants to make a quick insight check to read the situation before they notice you.
Sarissa,
I'll do
you're
it.
most qualified. With your hand gestures.
I did it.
So Biana and the unknown person are clearly they're arguing about something, but it doesn't seem to be about the two guards. They just seem to have been dragged into this.
Mm.
They don't have the expressions of don't have the expressions of we're in trouble. They have the expressions of like something happened and we don't know why we were called here. What are they arguing about?
Okay. We don't
They're more
understand what they're
confused
saying,
than
right?
guilty. Yeah. You don't understand, but they do, of course.
Of course.
You know, coming here without our interpreter wasn't the smartest thing we've ever done.
Yeah, thanks.
So I think maybe like you say that, and that combined with like the opening the flap, and there's like the murmur of the people outside. That's when they realize that they're not alone anymore. and so they turn to look at you, and the person you don't know just sort of like throws up his hands, not exasperatedly, but in sort of the expression of like, oh, okay, something else has happened, and just sort of backs away. Biana nods in greeting to you and says, "Hello, I trust you had a pleasant night."
Yeah.
And the two guards they sort of jerk at the ready when they notice you, but then when they see that Biana recognizes you, they sort of relax.
We had a very wonderfully relaxing night.
I do hope that the skins that we had provided for you were adequate for your comfort.
They were great. They were so comfortable. It was amazing.
You don't
Best sleep
look
we've
like
had
you-
in a long time.
That's interesting.
Sort of sideways.
I'm
collapse
gonna
car.
sidle a couple of steps away from Anding.
Actually, how comfortable were the skins?
Oh yeah, you know, they were comfortable. Like the fur
Okay,
was still
okay,
on
okay.
them.
So I have no reason to.
I mean, especially since you had bundled up everyone's, and so you had just a lot of cushioning.
Pine Leaf was like, well, they're not here. I'm going to use them all. Pine Leaf slept like a queen.
But I don't know how the rest of these people slept last night. They weren't here.
Are you saying?
Whoa. Whoa. That was pretty cold.
Ending the player? Are you saying that as ending the character, or
My
are you
character
saying
did
that
that.
as what Pine Leaf would be saying?
My character just said that.
Oh, okay. Biana's probably just more confused. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understood you quite well. What do you mean by they were not here? Is this an idiom in your language? Were they dreaming?
Go ahead, Ending. Go ahead, Ending. Put your foot in it some more. It's okay.
I just smile.
And so she just like waves a hand, shakes her head. Perhaps one day we will sit down and I will understand this further. You've come at a very strange time. We have a lot to discuss and to debate, and on top of that, there were some strange occurrences last night that just can't be accounted for. This is Maudal. He also speaks our language, and so Maudal, the other stranger, just sort of like half bows at the waist and says, "Pleasure to meet you."
Nice to meet you.
And then Biana continues. We were discussing how best to handle the situation when you came in. Was there an emergency? We were not going to send for you until later. We did not know how late you would sleep.
Some of our party has found some information.
In your tent?
Well, I would say
Who was
that
the last person to
Ending.
sleep in the guest tent?
Some of us were more sleeping last night than others. Ending. You want to tell her what that idiom really means?
Yeah, it means that it's not an idiom at all, and some of the party might have snuck past the guards out of the cave and gone to investigate that camp.
We didn't sneak.
What guards are you talking about? These guards? And then Maudal like
There's no
shoots a
sneaking
glance at
involved.
the two guards.
We had Anding with us. There was no sneaking involved.
I'm going to inspect them to see if those were the guards.
Okay, that'll just be a...
Insight?
Insight is more for reading situations. I guess this would be either lore people or just a straight wits check again. To just compare with your memory.
Probably people's.
Okay. Yeah. I think maybe you don't recognize the guard so much as like there were the craft of the spears that they have, and just there were maybe like chipped markings on the side from where they were trying to sharpen the edges. and you make the association.
Yeah, those were the guards.
So he shouts something. He starts to shout at them in their language. They start to look scared. They start protesting, and then Biana just like snaps like a word of command, probably like quiet or something, because then they shut up. And then she looks sternly, probably back at you, Andang, and says, "You left the cave without permission? It's not that you needed our permission, but we would have liked to know if you were going to leave, so we could have at least looked out for you."
Yeah, we wanted to try out Stealth Plan 32. And so we wanted to test it in a live environment and see how well it worked.
I'm not sure what this Stealth Plan 32 is, but perhaps
At
you...
this point, Sarissa is like sidling back to hide behind May with a hand over her face.
Yes, I'm not sure what Stealth Plan 32 is, but what did you do outside the... I don't know. What is the pressing information that you have? What did you discover?
Sarissa took notes.
What is a Sarissa?
That's the minstrel in our group.
She
The
looks
other
at you,
minstrel.
The other minstrel.
Not the elf, the human.
The one with the round ears.
What did you discover? I need to know which crisis we need to deal with right now.
Okay. What crises are we dealing with right now?
We chose to investigate the campfire that you had mentioned lay to the south, so we made our way through the swamp, came upon a camp and discovered that everybody in the camp had been slaughtered.
So clearly this is a surprise to Biana. She maybe takes a step back, like rests a hand on the table. Like she starts shaking her head. Like, we had two of our own going to meet them at that camp. Why did
Out
you?
of character for a second, didn't we discover that the two scouts were in that mess too?
No, they were the ones who were shot down in the road.
Oh, okay.
But we still knew that they died at some point.
They're dead, but I guess you wouldn't know. You might reasonably assume, but you didn't see them in the camp with
We
everyone
could at
else.
least suggest that they might have been those people. So that she'd know that she's down 2 scouts. So, continue on,
Yeah.
Sarissa.
We didn't actually see a sign of the scouts that you said had been sent. It's possible that they were also killed along with everybody in that camp.
Well, I don't know what to say. That is another crisis entirely. She says something to Maudal, who replies, like barks at his man, and then the two guards just sort of look. They don't seem to recognize any of you, even though they were the ones who you had put to sleep. But then they just sort of scurry out of the tent, probably for some future chastising. And Maudal says, "Perhaps we will be able to talk later. Right now it sounds like there is a more urgent matter. I will see you around the camp." And then he gives like a gesture of farewell and leaves the camp as well. So now you're alone in the tent with Biana. And then she says, "So, what exactly did you see? Did you go into the camp itself? Did you see the attack? What happened?"
We came upon one of the people leaving the camp after it had been attacked, and witnessed them killing 2 people on the road who were approaching. We decided to investigate to see what had happened, and found that everybody that had been in the camp around all the fires had been killed.
One person killed the entire camp?
It looks like she had help.
She?
The person
You know
that
that
we
it was
saw.
a woman.
The person that we saw was a female.
We heard her talk.
I see. And you are sure there were no survivors?
Pretty sure.
This is distressing news. That camp was supposed to be an ambassador from the Kretha tribe. They wanted to meet for some reason, and they were sending the daughter of their elder.
Uh-oh.
The scouts were supposed to meet her, escort her and some of her own guards back to our encampment. Since we were no longer in the ruins where she would be expecting to find us. But if that entire camp was slaughtered, who would have wanted to hurt her?
That's a good question. Hopefully they don't want to hurt anyone here.
I will talk to Maudal and see if we can double the guard.
That'd be a good plan.
Did you leave any tracks?
It was a little muddy.
I hope that whoever did this to the camp doesn't find ours. We are not prepared to deal with direct conflict. Did you find anything else, or is that all?
We did
Well.
find other stuff. There was the arrow stuff, wasn't there? I don't remember what that was about.
Arrow
Oh,
stuff?
the
That was
arrows.
beforehand, right?
No, the arrows that were used matched arrows that had been used against us when we were in the ruins.
That's right, so we faced this person before. Do we need to share
The
that,
person. Yeah, I'll volunteer. The person that we witnessed on the road is a person that we had encountered previously, shooting at us when we were in the ruins.
That is curious. Perhaps the camp was not the intended target. Perhaps my scouts were.
Seems a bit overkill, though, if just the scouts were the targets.
Indeed it does. This is strange. Nevertheless, I get the impression that we are in danger, and if not for you, we would not know it.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. These caves are not unoccupied. While they were off gallivanting, this is news to me, by the way, we had a near miss from trolls at your front door.
Trolls?
There are bats and bugs further up in the cave system.
Well, of course there are bats and bugs in the cave system, but did you say trolls?
I said trolls, yes.
Can we
At
have the
least
camera
two of
following
them.
Kindleaf's face to see her reaction to this?
There was at least 2 large ones at the cave mouth, and they mentioned something about didn't know there were those still around here, and they refused to come into this particular cave system. So I'm a little paranoid that there are still 6 caves, still 6 offshoots between here and the main entrance that are not explored by me. And there was this weird other pool thing.
Technically... Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, you know about the pool. Ignore me. Interesting. That was actually one of Maudal's projects, to map out the tunnels. Perhaps if you talk with him later, you can exchange notes.
That sounds like a plan.
I personally would not know much about that, but we expected there would be other things, but nothing has come to trouble us in this cave. At least, no creatures. There were still strange things happening last night. People have been talking about strange dreams, and they were waking up in locations around the cave that they did not go to sleep in.
Yes, that does sound familiar to me.
This, I can attest to, is happening as well. That
She
also
like, throws up her hands. Did none of you stay in the tent?
Well, I think the Hobbit attempted to.
Yes, I went to sleep in the tent, and I woke up somewhere else. In the
I see.
caves.
Did you have any dreams before you woke up?
Yeah, it was rather vivid dream. It's starting to dissipate, but it was a very strange dream that was as if voices were trying to talk to me, telling me to do something. To head north.
You too? That was very similar to my dream. It was a familiar voice from the past that obviously was very deceptive, but a familiar voice nonetheless telling me to do northerly travel.
This is strange. While I myself did not have any dreams, but some of the folk about our encampment have been telling about their dreams, and while they also heard voices of someone from their past, someone with authority, they were not told to head north. They were told to head east. They saw a strange... it looked like a castle sitting on a hill. In the middle of woods, some of them said. Others said it was a castle on a mountain.
I remember some sort of castle or something like that. It's starting to get fuzzy, though. Because all that's happened since then.
Was there anything about a bird?
I'll need a wits check for that.
I mean, there was nothing about a bird.
Okay. I don't
I
recall.
don't remember a bird. I remember statues. That's falling and getting wet.
I'll make a wits check to see if I can remember any other details that I am not remembering personally.
Okay. Sure. You won't need a particularly high roll, because it hasn't been that long. Well, there you go. Okay. So,
It was clearer than I thought!
So let's see. So your dream, Pine Leaf, started out as sort of you were dreaming of Staddle, and sort of like a dream that you'd finally cleared the Midgewater Marshes from the goblins' presence entirely. And then you drifted to you panned east, and there was a bridge where you saw just sort of a bright figure fighting a bunch of shadows. And the shadows were driven away, and the bright figure left something bright at the foot of that bridge. And then you panned north to the tower. You heard the voice. And then, still dreaming, you woke up in the tent, stepped outside, and you saw what everyone else saw. One of the two scouts getting shot down.
Right, yeah, that thing.
And then, after that, you finally woke up in the tunnel with Carnage.
Alright. Yeah, I don't remember a bird or anything like this. I just remember I did go north, but I started out in my dream in a place south of here, so it could have been the same place or not, but I did see a tower and things like that.
Very interesting. But you are sure that there was no bird? Everyone has been talking about a bird.
I don't remember any birds.
Wait, don't wake up Buddha. Buddha!
Perhaps I will have you. One of the other elders of the council has taken it upon himself to start collecting all of the records of people's dreams, because he is one of those people actually. Perhaps you can talk with him later.
All right.
There was one. Did anything else happen?
There was a point where I saw I seemed to see visions of what was happening outside. I saw the others as they were exploring. Now, I don't know how accurate it was since I wasn't with them really, but I did recall seeing a woman who seemed to be very, very dangerous that I attempted to fight and pretty much couldn't harm in any way.
Do you think this was the same woman that your friends are talking about?
I have a feel. Okay, I give the best description I can give to her.
I mean, the face was veiled.
Okay, yeah.
When this
could
person
be
spoke, though,
that-
you heard that same voice of like the Stattle Watch dispatcher. So I don't know that you would know that it was a woman.
Okay.
I mean, you can be reasonably certain that that wasn't the actual voice of the person, because that was the same voice you heard everything in. But,
Evie is a narrative voice, or okay.
right, but
I
you
didn't
never
know.
heard the actual voice of the person.
Okay. Sorry about that. That was my misunderstanding on there. Yeah, I do recall seeing this one. Whether it's the same one or not, I can't be sure. But it seemed to be about in the same area where they were. That's the impression I was given. And it seemed like someone who was very, very dangerous.
Indeed. I would think so. She just sort of sighs, like rubs her forehead a little bit. So many things happening at once. I need some time to collect my wits and maybe have some breakfast. I sent Fuel to get you breakfast at your tent. I don't know where he is. Perhaps he went looking for you.
Hopefully not too far.
Yes, indeed.
Well, have you talked with Gerald again?
No. No, we didn't.
Was he able to be of any help to you?
Not really.
He was so much help that I don't think we'll ever need to talk to him again.
I see. You may want to see him later anyway. He came through here. It was very late at night. I wonder if perhaps he should have been sleeping as well. But he said that he had discovered something in his notes that was of utmost importance to the rest of you.
Sounds good to me.
But his mind is starting to slip. It might be something that you have already been told for all that I know. You would know best how to handle this, I presume.
Yeah, we need to talk to Jared again.
So I'm guessing that our party is going to kind of go away to different parts to try to talk to all these people. So I'm going to reserve not talking to him.
Before leaving the tent, I'm going to just let Shannon and Biana know that I understand you've probably got a lot on your plate right now, but I, at least, of my group, am quite willing to help you sort through these difficulties. I have some experience in negotiation.
Interesting. Would you be interested in joining our council meeting later?
I would be quite interested, yes.
Okay. I suppose all of you are invited, but you may send what representatives you deem appropriate. I understand you probably have other things to do.
And May should totally come with me, because as the minstrels, obviously we are the most interested in everybody's history.
History or business?
I love Carve.
That would make sense. Are all of you... This is just...
Well, you
between
know,
us.
past events, current events, it all makes for a good story, so that's the sort of thing that we're interested in. Right, May?
That's right. That's right.
Sure, gather intelligence. Bold move. I like it.
Biana, I guess, is just sort of like darting glances. You are all welcome to join in if I don't know what trust issues you might have with each other.
That's awesome.
It is up to you. This will be sometime later. I can have someone find you to bring you to the meeting when we are ready to begin.
Yes. It's
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
We'd
you.
appreciate that.
Is there anything else that I can do for you? I suppose I should explain. The elders do speak this language. I can ask that we have the council held in this language so that you can participate as well.
Well, that's kind.
That's convenient.
So
Or
it
if
would
you
be
could at
nice
least
if we
have a
had some translators.
Translator nearby.
Right. Fuel is not authorized to sit in on the council meetings. Otherwise, I would have him translate for you. Yes. What he does with his time is up to him before the meeting. If you would like him to accompany you about town, feel free to meet people as you deem as you are interested, or you may stay at your tent. Although I don't anticipate you'll be doing any of that.
Are you kidding? I haven't had any sleep all night. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Perhaps that would be a wise choice.
I'm hungry. Let's eat.
Very well. I will see you again. So, I'm guessing then you leave, go back to your tent.
I'm looking for the Lore Master on the way, and if he's not in ready sight, then I might tell the party that I'm going to swing by the Lore Master tent and find out what Jared was so keen on talking about last night, even if Andang doesn't want to talk to him.
Okay. And so you're going to see Master Gerald, and the rest of you are headed back to your tent.
Yeah, because apparently I got some sleep last night.
Unless we want to stop by
Not a lot, but
see
some.
what's going on. That was a question to the rest of the party.
Up by where?
Fuel.
Oh.
I mean,
He's supposed to give us breakfast at our tent, but I'm going to swing by Jared's on the way back to our tent.
Because he was going to have other information too, apparently. But anyway.
That's right.
Good. Then I'll see you guys
Okay,
back at the tent. Works for me.
okay, I guess we'll follow Carve first and just follow Carve's path. So you go to Gerald's tent. He has like another, it's sort of a more permanent guest tent between Biana's tent and your own tent. So are you just going to barge inside, or?
Well, I'll walk up to the tent and I'll tap on the edge of the wall, trying to make some noise. I'm like, hello, Master Gerald. Is there, I understand you had some information for us last night.
There's no reply.
Okay.
Ooh.
I poke my head in
Okay.
quietly to see if old
So
boy's asleep or if there's
he's
something
just,
else
like,
going on.
Passed out asleep in like a corner, not even in his bed. Just, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll let the old boy sleep and head on.
Okay.
I'll look around to see
I think-
if there's anything he's got laying out, like notes or anything that might make
Oh yeah.
a light casual read. Whatever. I'm sure he's got like Lore Master books everywhere. Specifically, I'll look at the notes that are on the top of the piles of his clutter to see if any bits and
Okay.
details stand out to me.
What lore skills do you have?
I have epic lore skills of epicness. No, I have no idea. Probably not a whole lot.
Let's see what else.
No, I just know how to survive in the woods, so I don't really know a whole
Yeah.
lot about what he's got and stuff. So I can roll at a negative penalty and see what I find.
Yeah,
He's
we'll
going-
consider culture scholar then, I guess, to recognize like what was being worked on most recently,
Culture.
or
which
to
is
identify anything of other interest.
Culture skills. So what are we rolling now?
Culture scholar.
Culture scholar. Yeah, I'm so not the smartest dwarf in the haystack. But apparently I like to stay
Yeah.
alive. So,
I mean, that's not
when
bad.
needs be, I'm like, hey, this looks important.
So yeah, so there's notes and like open tomes and unraveled scrolls just littering the floor of this place. He probably is like sleeping on top of some of those, but just glancing over the ones that are on like the topmost pile that can be easily read. So there's one that's just full of just like doodlings and scribbles. Just like pictures of maybe like stick figure drawings, and then there's like a sketch of a plant, and then there's just like a bunch of like squiggles that are just drawn. Then there's another sheaf that seems to have notes from one of the open books, and it's about the indigenous wildlife of the northern plains of what's it called, Anandir. Then there's another there's like a small stack of notes on, it looks like a list of genealogies, from what you can tell. You don't recognize any of the names in particular, but there's a lot of like this, there's like some trees, and then there's like this person's son of, and then another person and just a question mark. Some of the names appear to be like common names that you'd see in Bree. And on other pages, some of the names, they seem elvish in nature. And then maybe there's one more piece of paper that's just all about the Ghost King and legends of the Ghost King that have been told and passed on.
Okay.
None of these notes, with the possible exception of some of the doodles, none of them seem to have been written recently, but he's been referring to them at some point recently.
I make note of the beastie / horticultural stuff. See if it's anything I've encountered before. But I also
the beastie thing is just like a crude stick figure drawing. I don't know if that could be anything you've encountered before.
Exactly. I'm also kind of curious why he would be digging into genealogies, but since I really don't care what's going on with that, I'm just like, oh, he was looking at genealogies. Okay. Maybe somebody knows somebody who's related to somebody who's going on. I'll make a note of that mentally, and then kind of like, all right, well, dude's passed out. I'm hungry. I want to pass out, so I'll
make a stealth roll.
Stealthy.
Something
you
else
want
you
the
didn't
dwarf to be stealthy. Oh gosh, I always forget what the stealth is because I never do it.
All the way at the bottom.
There it is. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So I like to think that you actually are being pretty quiet, sneaking around, but then just knowing Gerald, suddenly he just like snaps, like bends at the waist and sits upright, just wide eyes, and notices you there. It's like, good, you got my message. I have something for you. And then he starts like looking around him. I don't quite remember what it was. I just woke up. And he like looks through like Ghost King. Were we talking about the Ghost King? We weren't talking about the Ghost King. And he just like chucks it to picks up something. He's like, Auroch's mating rituals. No, that was one of the and then finally he sees the genealogies notes. He's like, oh yes, I discovered something. Well, I guess I discovered it a long time ago. Perhaps that's why I came to seek this group out. But I didn't make the connection, but I think that the people of Trestlebridge are descendants from this Hillman clan. And then like he starts just like rambling, like not realizing that the names have no meaning to you. He just starts pointing out like, see, this was the father of this person, and this person married her, and she was descended from this person, and their offspring married over here, and eventually, and sort of the picture that he's painting is that there was some sort of intermarriage between the Dunedain and this Hillman clan in particular. And their descendants are eventually who founded the town of Trestlebridge.
Interesting.
He's still going on, of course, but that's the gist of what you're getting from him.
Okay. So, being the suspicious conspiracy theory dwarf that I am, that means somebody in Trestlebridge either A, still has connections to these old roots, or B, found out recently about these connections to these old roots. So somebody in Trestlebridge was in cahoots for some reason. So we've got a lost princeling, or a missing princess, or something going on where somebody wants to get back into some clout that they may have had, or there's some kind of family ties thing going on, or hereditary treasure. You know, there's all kind of possibilities that are clicking in my dwarvish brain right now. So I'm making a note of that I will share this with the rest of the party.
To give us a good laugh.
If it seems appropriate. Okay, so
Fuel's still going, by the way.
Oh yeah. All right. So as I'm listening to him ramble on, I'm like, okay. So Master Jared, if I can get your focus here for a moment.
Yeah, you just like that turns the off switch. He's like, yes, was that helpful? Was that useful?
Depends. What do you think would be the result of somebody from Trestlebridge finding out about this Hillman ancestry?
It would depend on what exactly they found out, I suppose. The Hillmen have sort of gone down in the history books as the bad guys. They would probably be ashamed of this connection, try to hide it.
Very interesting. Okay.
Do you think? He like looks around conspiratorially, and then like he like loud whispers at you, like, that boy who was with you earlier. Do you think he could be related to these Hillmen?
That would be funny. which boy? The stealthy champion who's louder than a boar in the weeds?
Yes, I liked him.
I don't know. His backstory is weird. He says he was trained by the Rangers, but we don't know.
Wait. He met the Rangers?
He says he met
Does
the
he
Rangers.
know anything about the Rangers?
They come in colors of red, yellow, black, green, possibly pink. Oh wait, different kind of Rangers.
You talking about the Power Rangers?
He says...
Fascinating. I've only ever seen them in green and brown.
Harv, you get a tell from Andang that says you'd better not be saying that I'm part of the Rangers.
I didn't say he was part of them, I said he was trained by them. Apparently certain parts of the training stuck and certain parts didn't.
Do you think you could ask him to come back here? I have a lot of questions to ask about the Rangers.
Okay, I will tell him to go share the Rangers with you.
Thank you. It would be of great help in my research.
You are very welcome.
Do you think he knows anything of their herb lore?
I'll have to ask Andang. I don't know.
That's never happening. Alright.
Although I do understand that he's quite a merry fellow, so if he's on herbs, that would explain a lot.
That reminds me. And then he starts digging through his papers, and he finds one that you notice like it came from like the bottom of one stack. He's like, yes, I was just looking at this last night. Here, what do you think of this? And he hands you the notes. And this is written hastily. It's written more recently than the other stuff that you've been looking at. But it has a bunch of, it has the Aranas symbol, like the stars in a row with a broken crown above it. It has the Kreethus symbol, the circle of stars with a broken crown inside. And then there's notes referring to other clans there's just giant question marks where, like the relative positioning, it would be like he doesn't know what the symbols are. With just, I guess, scrawlings of other names that have no meaning to you. But there's just sort of like the crazy lines drawn connecting them with just other stuff. And you make out words like Angmar and Arnor are probably names you would recognize.
Right.
And it seems, well, I guess he just explains, like, as you can see clearly from this detailed schematic of all the information that I've gathered from my writings, I think that not all of the Hillmen sided with Angmar during their war with Arnor.
Sounds
I
good.
already knew that.
You're not here, Sarissa.
I know.
I know. I love that she.
Well, I've heard tale of this. As I look at the sheet, do I see anything that resembles the pattern that we saw on the cloak, which nobody's mentioned to anybody yet, even though we've already talked about these other guys?
I mean, that was the same. That was the Kreethus symbol, the circle of stars with the crown inside.
Oh, okay. So we haven't seen any new Hillman patterns yet at this point.
Not yet.
Well, we got the three tribes that we've run into so far, I think. Okay.
2 tribes.
2 tribes? Well, what about the other group that got slaughtered? Are they the same other tribe?
Oh, so who's the? I mean, yeah. You found the Kreethus markings on there.
Okay. So we had the greave and the helmet and the cloak, but the cloak matched the helmet or the greave?
The
The
helmet.
helmet.
Okay. Carve understand. I'm tired. Okay. So this is good information. Good talk, Master Loremaster.
Yes. I don't think I quite finished going through the genealogies with you, though. I might have left something important. Do you remember where I left off?
No, actually I don't. But I do understand that your time is valuable, so I would like you to summarize this so that you can repeat what you just said to our group, especially Andang. He's very interested, especially how rangers might influence other cultures. He's a bit of a ranger file, that one.
I'm getting a tick. Like, I have no idea what's going on, but my character is just starting to get.
You just feel really annoyed for some reason. How rangers influenced other cultures. I can try digging. I don't know that much about the rangers, however. I feel your friend, Andang, you said his name was.
Oh, yes.
Andang.
Yes, absolutely. And I will make sure to introduce you to him next time we see each other.
I think he might know more about rangers.
Yes, he loves to talk about his time with the Rangers.
Excellent.
I'm sure he will be quite excited to share you his adventures.
That sounds like a plan. You can come back here for dinner.
Oh, food's good.
Well, as you say, I should get back to work.
Yes, and I will carry what you have said on to the party, the rest of the group, because I think it would be interesting for us to understand that there are, in fact, ties potentially between these Hillman tribes and the people of Trestle Bridge. Okay.
Sounds good.
I exit.
Do you happen
towards the tent.
Go ahead. Like, as you leave, you hear him asking, like, do you happen to see where I left? And then he starts rattling off the name of a book, like Patterns on the Migration of Winged Beasts, like from the coast, something like that. And then
Maybe it flew away.
as you leave the tent, you just hear a sharp snore.
Lovely.
Okay, so the rest of you went straight back to the tent, with Andang just feeling irritable and suspicious for some reason. And you get back to your tent, and there's some cold meat, as well as just a lot of bread and some. It looks like it was like chopped a couple of days ago and not left in a cold refrigerator-like environment that is period appropriate. Just like onion slices. And then there's like a sort of like finger writing in the ground. That it's from Fuel. He says like, "You weren't here, but I had to see to something. I hope you enjoy this, Fuel."
I reply back in the ground, "Thank you very much," and
You see 3 dots appear as he tries to write a note.
He tries to write back. Nice.
Yeah, so there's some leftover food for you. Is there anything that you do immediately before Carve returns?
I'm gonna eat some bread
yeah,
and
I'm
then
gonna
curl
start
up on
too.
my furs.
Alright. The furs are all in one pile, in kind of like the middle of the tent, sort of close by the fire, which is burned out completely by now.
Yep, don't care. I'm gonna get the bread and plop down on the furs.
Anyone else?
I'm doing the
Well-
same thing on a different fur.
Are you
He's a
tugging
drag.
it out from
Yeah.
under me?
Yeah, you have to drag.
It's a different fur.
Right. I will, of course, have breakfast because I am pretty hungry, and since these guys were up all night and I guess I had some sleep, I might as well keep watch for them since I'm sure they're worried about something. They always are, seems like.
Changed.
I'd like to think Pine Leaf is just, you guys go ahead and rest, I'll keep watch. And it was like, keep watch for what? May, are you sleeping too? Or eating? Or...
I don't know.
She's an elf. She
I'm
doesn't
sort
need
of.
to sleep.
I'm kind of mulling.
I feel you're more sore than tired.
Yeah, really, and sort of trying to just think things through. So I'll probably be like 7 of 9 and go stand in the corner
Okay.
and regenerate.
Alright. So Carve, at some point you come back to the tent. Pine Leaf, I guess, is snacking, keeping watch for something. May is just sort of in a corner of the tent, just like meditating, or are you like stretched out?
Yeah. No, I think meditating kind
Just
of.
like Jedi.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
And then yeah, you see Sarissa just asleep on top of a pile of furs, and there's one that's sort of half pulled out of the stack that Andy's curled up on.
Carve's gonna be angry.
You look like you're muted, Carve.
Sorry, dogs. They're on watch and they're whining in the background.
Oh.
I come in. I'm in now. Have I come back?
Yes.
Hear me? Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I look around. Who's still awake?
Pine Leaf. Yeah, Pine Leaf is definitely like alert and awake at the front of the tent. May is just sort of like sitting in a corner with her eyes closed, and Sarissa and Andang are stretched out asleep.
All right. First thing I do is I check for food.
I'm assuming there's food left over.
Okay. Is there
There's,
food left over?
cold meats.
Yeah,
some
probably.
Slightly
Alright,
suspicious onion slices.
I do a sniff test to make sure they're not poisoned or spoiled.
The meat is, it's freshly cooked. It's sitting here and it's cold.
Okay.
The onions might be a little off.
Yeah, I'll pass on onions. Meat sounds okay then.
And then
If there's any bread left,
there's
I'll have a
bread.
nibble.
I don't know. That seems to be what everyone else was eating.
Okay. We'll go with what. Well, if nobody else looks like they're throwing up, then yeah, I'll have a bite of that.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone look like they care about what I learned with the Lore Master?
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
You might as well. Oh, okay. Well, I saw you go in there carrying papers or something like that.
Not,
Well, yeah.
I mean, do we want to retcon? Do you want to have just taken the notes, Carve? I don't think Gerald would have noticed if you had.
Nah, I didn't take the notes. I just remember what he said because I probably would have been able to read his notes anyway.
So, found anything interesting?
Well, yes, actually, believe it or not, the Lore Master was quite lucid. Eventually. He apparently has discovered through his research what appears to be a genealogical link between the ancient Dunedain of this area and the Hellmen by marriage, and he believes the people of Trestlebridge actually are descendants of this union.
All right, and well, I'm sure that's interesting from a genealogical point of view and could make some really nice charts.
Why does
Whatever
that
does.
matter to us? Okay, well, at this point, we've got different Hillman tribes that are seeking to reestablish some kind of power position. Somebody's going to have to lead all this mess. There's people groups that are moving, finding out who's related to who. We just heard that they were trying to send a daughter from another chief group over here. It's been my experience in the past that whenever there's a power vacuum, somebody looks for somebody who's got some legitimate heir to the throne kind of things going on. So the fact that we know there was some crazy stuff going on in Trestlebridge, we don't know who was operating behind the scenes, especially how, you remember that bow we found in the ruins was Trestlebridge make, but it had Hillman arrows with it? Somebody from Trestlebridge came out of Trestlebridge after we did, so there's some other player out there. And if there's Hillman ties to Trestlebridge because of ancestry, either somebody found something out or some family secret was passed down. But I'm saying there is possibly somebody from Trestlebridge who's out wandering around the woods doing other stuff that we don't know yet, but there's a strong indication that there could be something going on.
Right.
So that's what I think.
That sounds as crazy to Pineleaf as it sounded as crazy to me.
I'm just saying.
If I wasn't asleep, I would find this totally fascinating. But I'm sleeping.
We will just have to investigate further.
Okay. Ending's asleep, right? Look, Ending is actually asleep. His character. He's out cold.
I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is dreaming of being stealthy.
That's fantastic. I lean over to Pineleaf and I whisper in hushed tones, I totally set Ending up. Jared's going to be all over him about Ranger questions. Oh, I thought you were asleep, Ending. I didn't mean to disturb you. My
For the record, I'm
apologies.
still asleep. I just went through a coughing fit. I was sleeping.
So yeah, we'll pan out as Pineleaf and Carve share a good laugh at Ending's expense.
Yeah, that's a good laugh.
And then I think just at the very end, we'll see. It's this. It's the mystery woman, all wrapped up in her gray garb, and she has the bow. She has some arrows, and she seems to be in like the woods somewhere. And she seems to be kneeling before like just a tree with a large trunk. It's like scratched into the trunk with a rock or something. This a giant star with wings and what looks like a bird's head, almost like totem style at the top. And then I think we just cut to black from that image with like a like a screech, like a bird screech in the background. So, yeah.
So apparently we're dealing with a falconer, and this is going to be a horrible skirmish later on.
Right. Thanks for
No,
playing,
that's
guys.
awesome. Yeah, thanks, Greg. And thank you everyone for watching. This has been another episode of Tales of the Free Folk, our 15th episode, so that's pretty cool. And the party's back together, and we're doing stuff, and it's great, and we're going to find out next episode possibly more things, and hopefully not split the party in the near future. So, till next time, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Tales of the Free Folk.